Hi, everyone. Meteorologist Steve Caparata here, coming up on the lunch hour on this Thursday. It's been a busy morning around the area, no doubt about it. Some of that heavy rain and that potential we've been talking about has been working across southeast Louisiana, and in particular, some of the heaviest rain so far this morning has been falling around Metro Baton Rouge, impacting parts of the city. We do have some flash flood warnings ongoing and the potential of some more heavy rain on the way. So that's why I wanted to give you the live update. Obviously, you can tell behind me, still at home, going to be to the office here shortly, though. Jeff Morrow is going to be live on air coming up at noon. All right, so let's walk you through radar. Here's what we're tracking right now. Widespread showers and storms lifting northward, and we've got a heavy band that extends from Livonia, Irwinville, Gross Tate, Maringouin, right on through Baton Rouge. Some of the heaviest on the east side of the city, moving into Walker, and you can see especially here in the Livingston Parish, we've got some of that heavy rain. Walker moving in on the town of Livingston, extended down to Killeen, Springfield. Very heavy rainfall. Now, the little bit of good news with this band relative to what we saw maybe earlier this morning, I'm seeing a little more forward progress with this band as it lifts northward. Earlier this morning, we had some stuff that was moving more so kind of east to west and training over the same areas. This is showing a little more steady progress to the north. So hopefully we keep that moving along and limit the potential of some of that very, very heavy rain, which you can see extends out over lakes Maurepas and Pontchartrain, headed up I-55 from, say, Manchac up towards Ponchatoula. Some of the heavier rain headed your way. So there is quite a bit going on. And then as we come farther south, what I want you to notice is there's still more rain kind of gathering along the coast, albeit not as heavy as the stuff, that band that we're seeing moving inland right now. So hoping that even if we get some more moving in from coastal locations this afternoon, maybe won't be quite as heavy. All right, so we do have some flash flood warnings in effect at this hour. Let's take a look at what we've got going on. So you can see parts of East Baton Rouge, Ascension, Livingston under this flash flood warning through at 12:30. And I think the Weather Service, yeah, so they have two separate flash flood warnings out, and I know it may be a little bit hard to see. So the larger polygon there that covers much of EBR, northern parts of Ascension, western parts of Livingston, that's through 12:30. What I'm going to do now is kind of zoom in a little closer and give you a look at this smaller flash flood warning that's embedded. I know it's hard to see, it's green on green, so what I'm going to do is kind of outline it for you. So they kind of issued a follow up here right there in that box, kind of right across the city. So that covers kind of the 1012 up to the Amazon facility right there at Airline in Florida, Town Center through Mid City, and on into downtown. That officially is in effect. I believe that's 2:30. So let me pull that up. Yeah, that's 2:30. And what you'll note in that little box I put up is the Weather Service in recent years has added kind of some layers to these flash flood warnings. So it used to just be a flash flood warning was a flash flood warning, and that was it. Now they can add these tags to them. And in essence, that box, they kind of upgraded the flash flood warning and added that considerable tag to it to kind of note that the flooding potential is a little bit higher. That was where some of the heavier rain's been coming down. Also, it's kind of more urban, right in the heart of the city. So concerns that the flood threat was a little bit higher. That may have triggered the wireless emergency alerts on your phone as well when it went off. So if you heard your phone go off, that is why it happened. Here at my house, I think I'm just outside of that box and did not hear my phone go off, but that should have triggered the alert if you were inside that box or close to it. Kind of depends on where the cell tower is too relative to your location, but for many of you, that should have triggered it. All right, so in addition, we also have in addition to these warnings, we have a flood watch that's now been extended through Saturday morning. And basically, that includes parishes along I 10 and I 12 and southward. That's the greatest potential of the heavy rainfall, although it's not to say if you're outside this flood watch, there could still be some locally heavy rain as well. All right, let's take a look at a little model guide. So this is the HRRR. Now, I'll caution you here. It's not looking the greatest here at the beginning. It's kind of showing a lot of heavy rain south of I-10. It's got the stuff that's kind of moving through right now, but some of the stuff that's south of us is more light to moderate. So take it with a little grain of salt. But I did want to show you that it does show some additional rain here into the afternoon. That's 3 o'clock. It does show the intensity letting up a bit. So fingers crossed for that, because obviously kind of need a break in the rain. You know, yesterday I was saying how the city again kind of missed out, and it's been bad luck lately because we needed some rain. Only had 4/100ths of an inch of rain at the airport yesterday, but that has changed in a hurry today. And now we're almost to the point where we're going to turn the faucet off a little bit. So we'll advance to 6 o'clock this evening. We're still seeing rain developing, and we're still seeing some pockets of heavy rain showing up. So this particular model showing some heavier rain in our coastal parishes at 6 o'clock this evening. Here we are tonight, more rain. Now, at times, the coverage here might be a little bit overdone in the model, but the idea is that more rain is likely. It's going to be off and on through the day, through the night as well, and at times could be heavy. So that is just after midnight. We'll pick up sort of the extended version of this model now. So we're just after midnight, headed into Friday. And what you see is we continue to see rain develop into Friday morning. Now, the question is, as we get into tomorrow, models have not done a great job. Now, if you were with me last night, or if you saw any of the social media posts that I did, one of the things I kind of tried to hammer home was that there was pretty high confidence there would be some heavy rain in the area, but the where was proving very difficult. We had models hitting bullseyes all over the place. And so that's kind of what we're seeing today. So as we get into tomorrow, take the model guidance, at least the location of the heavy rainfall, with a grain of salt. So here it is in the morning showing heavier rains, mostly confined to the coast, but some of that could be inland. All right, shows the rains continuing through lunchtime. Some of that heavy. Shows more rain into the afternoon. That's 5:30 Friday afternoon. Some of it heavy. And by the way, this is a lower priority in the grand scheme of things, but Friday night, obviously, a lot of high school football, so that could be kind of a mess tomorrow night. Just have that in the back of your mind. Also, we have some Thursday night games, so it could be wet for tonight's games too. Both nights certainly could have some weather issues. And then you see Friday night into the early morning hours of Saturday, the rains finally start to exit. That's as we start to get that cool front moving in that we've been talking about. So that's the good news. Things get better this weekend. I will tell you, I don't think I have it pulled up here. The graph model is another model we use, a little bit slower in getting the rains out early Saturday. So we'll keep an eye on that. And that's kind of why the Weather Service did extend the flood watch through Saturday morning at 7 a.m. to cover that potential of at least some rain lingering overnight Friday into early Saturday. So all of this is tied to this area of low pressure that is spinning just offshore. So it's kind of just southeast of Houston, southwest of Lake Charles, and look at all the rain it's producing. The Hurricane Center is even noting this feature now, but only giving it a 10% chance of development. So it looks a little interesting. It's creating some breezy conditions, but as that front moves down Friday and the Saturday, that's going to start pushing it southward, and conditions should be less than ideal for that to become more organized. So the main concern, as it stands right now, continues to be the heavy rain that's producing. And this is what we expected. We told you it was going to start drifting back in our direction. And as a result, some of that heavy rain was going to move back our way. There's a live look outside Sky9 camera in Port Allen, brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake. And you can see, certainly can see some of the raindrops still coming down as we look back at the state capitol. Now, the upside here, right, is that we're getting some heat relief. So temperatures in the 70s, but we got to be careful that now we don't start to see too much rain. And I'm going to go back to radar in a moment here before we wrap up, but let me give you a quick look at the forecast. So the storm team, the weather team, has now posted first alert weather days. What is that all about? Well, that's just a way to give you an added heads up to impactful weather. Sometimes that can be dangerous weather. And we were talking about the potential of some flooding today that can certainly be dangerous. So, certainly very impactful weather today and potentially tomorrow with this ongoing flood threat. So, we have these first alert weather days now posted for you to have that added heads up. So, you're going to see that showing up in our newscast on our website. It's an added alert level to make sure you're prepared for what we're going through and what's on the way. So the rains are going to be widespread today, tomorrow. I didn't really get to update my numbers as much as I would have liked to, but I'd put rain chances. It's 100% today, probably close to 100% tomorrow, and then it does start to wind down early Saturday. And check that out. Morning lows could actually get in the low 60s, even in Baton Rouge by Monday morning. We'll get a little taste of fall. Low 60s likely north of Baton Rouge. Monday morning, not out of the question, we see some upper 50s near north of the state line. And then down the road, less important right now, but a few showers returning second half of next week. So right now, give a second to pull up. So again, right now, the main concern is this band lifting to the north, especially kind of lining up along I-10, I-12 at this hour. But what I wanted to also do, give me a second, I want to pull up the estimated rainfall. So we'll take a look at that. And this is 24 hours of estimated rain. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make that, let's make it 48 just to cover the last couple of days. Doesn't change things much, 48 for the Baton Rouge area, because we didn't get much yesterday. So as we zoom in on this is why we've seen some of the flash flood warnings, and I'll give you a look at some of the estimated numbers. So as you get down into lower parts of Livingston Parish, you're looking at 3 to 4 inches of rain. Denham Springs, we're looking at 3 to 4 inches of rain. Near the 10-12 split, 3 to 4 inches of rain. So you get the idea. We've got a number of spots now where we've had these two rain bands set up this morning that have seen 3 to 4 inches of rainfall. And so the concern is that's already a good bit, and there could still be a good bit more to come as the day wears on in the Friday as well. So that's why we've got flash flood warnings ongoing and the flood watch continuing to indicate the potential of more rain as we get into Friday. Now, let me take you farther south and look at the rains that have fallen in parts of Terrebonne and Lafourche parishes. Some really big numbers here. So you see the shades of, you're getting in the orange, the red, the magenta. That's 5 to 10 inches or more of rain. As we look west of Chauvin, you've got 8 to 9. Close to 9 there. As we go closer to Raceland and Lafourche Parish, estimating over 10 inches of rain. So that's the concern here. Not only what's coming down right now, but that this is really starting to add up in some areas. So you can see we've already had some areas, especially south of I-10, with some 5 to 10 inch rain totals. All right, so that is most of what I had today. What I'm going to do is pull the radar view back up. And if you guys have any questions, especially if you're on Facebook, I'm going to try to peek at a couple of our Facebook pages and see if you have any questions. We'll see if we can answer a couple before we wrap it up. Bear with me. And by the way, for anybody, if anybody is seeing any flooding out there, certainly would appreciate any reports that you might have. The Weather Service did relay one report of some flooding around Oak Hills. It didn't have a lot of detail with it. I'm assuming that's some street flooding that was probably observed around Oak Hills. But if you do have anything more, if you are seeing anything more, let me know. And just remember, just be careful. You know, some of the traditional flood spots, I'm sure, you know, you get here in the city. So if you start talking about Burbank and Nicholson, the Bluebonnet Underpass, the Acadian Underpass, when you get on sections of 110, the Governor's Mansion Curve, all those spots, be extra careful. Holly here asking, will this be another 2016? No, let's emphasize that. We're not expecting this to be another 2016, okay? So, what we're primarily concerned about right now is street flooding and nuisance flooding, but we need to keep an eye on it because if we start seeing, I showed you where you have in parts of Terrebonne, Lafourche Parish, some pockets of 7 to 10 inches of rain or more. If you start getting numbers like that, then it's a little more of a concern. But we're not anywhere in the neighborhood of talking about 2016 type stuff. The rivers are fine. Keep in mind, it's been relatively dry as of late, so no major concerns of anything like that happening. So good question, and happy to report that that is not a concern. All right, just peeking around here, not seeing a lot of questions rolling in, which is a good thing. Let me check one or two more things before I let you go. All right, so let me read you one update here from the National Weather Service. This was as of a few minutes ago. They said becoming increasingly concerned for additional flash flooding across the Slidell area east of our viewing area, but still we might have some people from Slidell watching, extending west across the whole North Shore to east of the Baton Rouge metro. So especially east of Baton Rouge, where we're tracking that heavy rain band. I'm talking about that rain band slowly drifting north. And Kevin Gilmore, one of the forecasters at the Weather Service, says um, be on the lookout for potentially some more flash flood warnings to account for that. Um, all right, so that was one little update. So let me come to the map just to show you. So first off, as we come into the city, we do still have these flash flood warnings in effect. The rains are showing some northward progress, but certainly still some pretty heavy rain coming down parts of the city. But this is the stuff that they're especially worried about over the next couple of hours. See, it looks like got some kind of warning, flash flood warning in Slidell. So this area here, Slidell through Mandeville, Hammond, and probably even into parts of Livingston Parish, going to have to watch out with some of that stuff being a little slower to make northward progress right now. You see how that band is producing heavy rain, and at least in this 1 hour loop, not making a lot of northward progress. So that's something to watch. Whereas this stuff that's closer to Baton Rouge showing at least some northward progress. But you get the idea, right? So we've got concerns with heavy rainfall, flooding, and it's tricky to kind of hone in on any point, but the potential is there. All right, so just want to take a look. So Baton Rouge Metro, I'm going to do some mental math real quick. So 192, 219. So we're over 2.5 inches of rain at the airport now so far today. So that's certainly a pretty good soaking. More on the way, and that's why we've got these concerns with some potential flash flooding. All right. Take one more peek at questions. If I don't see anything else, we're going to wrap it up. I need to get into work anyway, so I can do a little better job covering this with you for you with my equipment. But Jeff Morrow's on right now. It's 12:11. He'll have a live update on 9 News at noon. His main weathercast should be coming up. All right. With that, we will go ahead and wrap it up. Stay safe out there. Some flash flood warnings in effect, and also a reminder that the flood watch is in effect through 7 o'clock Saturday morning. Be careful.